All right, well, thank you, Academy, for inviting me to come talk. I'll paraphrase some here. I'm sure you've heard this, but Lou Piniella did say that you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm biased because it is Lou Piniella. And after the last 2 years, I think we can all relate to that message in some way. But as I stand up here, my Formula One message, my one thing that I'm constantly working on is compartmentalization. Staying in your lane, if you will. I thought that was kind of fitting. So I'm not perfect, right? But I still feel confident with what I'm about to share here today. Webster's dictionary defines compartmentalization as to separate into isolated compartments or categories. My story of how I compartmentalize my life stems from baseball. Now, some of you know that I played baseball for the Cubs organization for about 4 years. Got really good at throwing a ball to a glove for 20 years or so. Some of you might know me from a TV show, season 9 of The Bachelorette. It's on Hulu and Netflix, and go watch it this evening. I don't get paid for that. Some of you we haven't yet met or had a deep conversation, so I look forward to that. You have to come up and ask. Now, my career in the Cubs organization and as a baseball pitcher was mostly as a reliever. And if you don't know what a reliever is, the reliever is the pitcher that comes in to relieve the starter. There's about 7 relievers on a team. There's 12 pitchers usually in total. After about 45 days of spring training, you've got about 153 days for a season. And you've got about 140 games during that season. And as a reliever, you have to be ready all the time. No matter the situation, no matter how you feel that day, you have to be ready. So the mantra that I kind of stuck with was 1 pitch, 1 batter, and 1 out at a time. And we are in the business where numbers matter, and there is the pull to compare ourselves to one another, and you don't have to admit it, but I know you all look for that email that Justin sends out every single month to see where your name ranks and if you made it to the top or if you are in the mix at all, right? It's natural, I do it too. Not usually up there, but anyway, what I learned from baseball specifically, and while it is a team sport, you can only control what you can control, right? So training, diet, the mental game, really my craft. And if I got wrapped up in anything else that the other teammates, right, my 11 teammates, the pitchers that I played with regularly were doing, and lost focus of my goals or my objectives, it was really time lost on improving my skills and my ability to pitch, which was important. You see, the uncomfortable thing about being a reliever is that you have a bad day, you might need to pitch that very next day against the same team, against the same hitter. So you kind of have to have a quick memory. You have to be able to learn from your successes and mistakes that day and move on. You have to put good performances, bad outings, late nights, soreness, really all of that negativity into its own categories, right? Compartmentalize. You have to compartmentalize. You can't afford to dwell on the home run, which I gave up home runs quite a bit. And you have to move on from that. Otherwise, it can quickly compound and bleed into that next day or even that next game and that next pitch, and that's what we're always trying to avoid. All right, so you're probably like, this has nothing to do with loans, and I don't even like baseball, and I understand, but how about this? So how many of you have made that phone call, got the agent on the phone, and they're like, will you just please stop calling? I have my lenders. Hang up. Right, James? All right. We spend all this time with clients, hours on hours, months, right? And they get in the contract. We did everything. It was 11 o'clock at night last night. We're sending out pre-approvals. There's 6 other offers on that house. And then, boom, they leave you over like $200, and you just get completely blindsided. Jeff Denny knows what I'm talking about. Or we closed that loan in 2 weeks, and clients were excited. The agents are thrilled. They're going to send us more business, and they can't believe it happened. Or we close it in 10 days, super fast, and everyone just says, thanks. You're like, really? All right. The crazy thing about baseball is that it's failure, it's constant, and it's imminent. The very best hitters fail 7 out of 10 times, and they still might make the Hall of Fame. Not Barry Bonds, we're not really sure yet. He's kind of a wild card, but that's a different story. The crazy things about mortgages is it's failure, it's constant, and it's imminent. We don't convert every lead, right, we get. The very best lenders don't close every lead. Now, Danny talks to thousands of people every single year, and he's not batting 1,000. I'd say he's batting like 900. I'm more around like 39% of closing, right, from lead to conversion to close, and I know that's an okay number. But how many of us get into that office, right? We go in, actually, let's do a show of hands. How many of us go into the office and we just don't feel motivated that day, right? All right, Adam, these are the people showing you their hands. Or how many of us land 3 realtor meetings for the next week and have amazing conversations with amazing first-time home buyers? Or how many of us just have a great marketing campaign that we feel like we really nailed, tweak it a little bit, and then a few months later, nothing? I believe that no matter if we're having good days, throwing bad pitches, closing all the loans, or competing with 25 other guys on a reality TV show and trying to win the heart of an amazing woman, I was going to bring it up, I have to bring it up, we still have to show up. We have to assess the positives, we have to learn from the mistakes, and we have to continue to move forward if we want to be successful in whatever it is we want to accomplish. We have to place all those things in their own categories, in their own buckets, pull for them, and then continue to grow. I'm supposed to use slides, and I like to talk with my hands, but this is baseball. Danny knows what I'm talking about because we played together. This is college. This is the minor leagues in beautiful Peoria, Illinois. And this is early March 2013, and I'm sitting in this hotel room in Los Angeles, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing? I just started this job nine months ago as a loan officer assistant for Barry Barchet, and now I'm about to go on this national television show to find love with 25 other dudes. Shout out to Barry because he joined Academy last year, and we are reunited, and it feels so good. Now, Barry is the one I started with and my mentor, and he's been great. I truly believe that baseball and my ability to compartmentalize helped me through the entire show, the entire experience on the Bachelorette, and of course, lending. I'm not going to talk about lending, though. And it does sound ridiculous and funny, and I know we talk about it, but I was literally living with 25 other guys under one roof, and we were all vying for Dez's time. That's my wife, if that's a surprise. When we were literally traveling the world to get 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, a ride on a yacht to a remote island in Madeira, going to the oldest Madeiran winery in the middle of the Northwest Africa coast, right? Real normal dates. And we were really all hoping that she would notice us. There's a Q&A after this too, but we can go over more detail. Just kidding, Kimber, sorry. We're not doing a Q&A. Each week, there was a rose ceremony, and at the end of the cocktail night, that usually started around 10 p.m. and would go till like 2 or 3. You see it on TV at like 9:55 p.m., but in all reality, it's 2 a.m. We're all exhausted from trying to talk with Des before she calls your name up to give you, hopefully, a rose and stand next to Chris Harrison or send you packing, which, fun tidbit, you have to have your bags packed before you go to a rose ceremony because you're literally leaving if you don't get a rose. I 100%, or maybe even 1,000%, had to compartmentalize my time on the show. You see, Des didn't go on every date with just me, right? Oftentimes, there were group dates with 10 other guys, and we're playing dodgeball in the Grove in LA and trying to look impressive and manly and trying to get a one-on-one date with her so that we could talk with her at the end, right? When I wasn't with Des on a date, I was literally trying to make friends with the other guys, and they were good guys. And it's really weird because they're all dating the same girl you're dating. What I had to do was compartmentalize all the relationships. I was friends with Brooks. Awkward. If you know who that is. I was friends with Des, and Des and I were falling in love with each other, right? And I had to keep each relationship in its own category, and in order to enjoy myself, but also focus on whether or not I was there for the right reasons. I needed to find out if she was there for me and if I was there for her. I didn't want any of the TV charades, the other guys, or the magnitude of the whole entire situation interfere with my goal, which was finding love and figuring out if she was the one. All right, let's wrap this up because it's been a while. I hope that there's at least one thing that you can take from this for 2024. I am going to continue to compartmentalize my relationships with clients, realtors, my time spent marketing, supporting my peers when questions arise rather than comparing. And I know that I can only control what I can control. And my focus this year is to continue to work on those areas that I need to improve in. Pull from strengths that I've acquired over the last 11 years in this business and still allow for grace during the times when things aren't going the way they should. Those are days that are certainly ahead of us, but I'm going to push through knowing that if I stick to the plan and accomplish my goals, it'll all work out. All right, thank you for